Hello, everyone. Welcome to YouTube Model Builders Tuesday night presentation. Tonight we have the great pleasure of having Gino Sharp once again from Central City Belt Line. I'm Dude Lindler from Crooked Fingers Railroad, and tonight's presentation, Gino will be going over rolling stock, prime mover, weathering techniques, supplies, and equipment on all scales. It will work on all scales, basically what he's doing. And when it comes to end scale, it's just going to be a smaller form. Just a reminder, keep checking the YouTube modelbuilders.com for all the latest info with the EMAG, the presentation schedules, and the live shows. All your information that has anything to do with the YouTube Model Builders are there. We are having weekly presentations every Tuesday. Starting next month in May, Gino Sharp will be doing his own presentations. He will get a presenter to come in. Gino will be on the first Tuesday of the month. Troy from Pacific North Central, he'll be doing presentations on the second Tuesday of every month. I will come back in on every third Tuesday of the month. Barry Rozier will be doing the fourth Tuesday of every month. And then on certain months that has 5 Tuesdays a month, I will step in and do presentations on those until we find somebody that can do a part-time presentations. I hope everybody enjoys the presentation tonight. And just to let everybody know, the EMAG is always accepting articles, pictures, to go into the EMAG. The EMAG is bi-monthly. I think the next issue is coming out in May. And so further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Gino Sharp.
Thanks, sir. Hey, guys. Welcome y'all in tonight. I'm just going to go over some weathering techniques and items that I use. Basically, the majority of my weathering, I use alcohol and acrylic paints, like that you get at Walmart. I get mine at Walmart or Hobby Lobby. It's just the generic acrylic paints and 70% alcohol. I also use weathering chalks. Now I make my own. I get the packs at Walmart. They come all different colors, but usually mostly the blacks, the browns, the grays, and a little cheap cheese grater from the dollar store. And I make my own, and I haven't had any problem with it. It works out just like the ones that you buy already made. It's just a whole lot cheaper when it comes to it. But that's basically all that I use. I don't use an airbrush. I have not mastered the airbrush technique, and I do all my weathering with a brush. But basically, what I do is I'll just take some alcohol and pour it in a cup, and then mix up some paint, whatever color that you want to use. I use mostly black, just regular old tan paint, burnt umber, and white are the 4 basic that I use. Now I'll mix my black and my white to get a gray color if I need to. But I'm gonna go ahead and start. We'll just weather up this gondola tonight and just show you the process that I use, and we'll see how it turns out. But what I start out with, I'll go ahead and just brush on a coat of whatever base color I want. I'm gonna use the tan on this just to kind of fade it out a little bit. And one thing to keep in mind when you're using the alcohol and the acrylic paint, it'll dry lighter than what it is when it goes on, so just kind of keep that in mind. So if it looks like it's going on heavy, don't panic. When it dries, it's going to be a little bit lighter. And if you don't like the way it turns out, you can always just come back with some plain, just straight alcohol, and it'll clean right up and you can start over. But I'll go ahead and put my base coat over the entire model, the undercarriage as well, underframe. Can y'all see that okay?
Yep. I think I can. What about everybody else?
Yeah, yeah, just fine.
Yep.
Yeah, I can definitely see it. Looks good.
I said I put it on pretty liberally. My first coat, just kind of get a base cover. All right. And just kind of speed this process up, I'm going to hit it with a hair dryer a little bit. So I'm going to mute the mic, and then I'll be right back with you.
I could make the hair dryer noise if you guys would like me to.
All right, and you see how the alcohol kind of faded up the paint a little bit. And now we're going to go back and I'm going to start working in some rust detail. Uh, and what I used is a combination of just straight acrylic paint and chalk. I usually use the burnt umber for the base. Brush here. And you almost want to dry brush it on. And then while it's still wet, you want to hit it with some chalk. And when it dries, it's going to dry with a rust texture. And it'll really give it that rugged look. And you can kind of vary the amount of chalk that you use, just kind of give it a little bit different layers. And you can kind of mix up your colors too, a little bit of light and a little bit of dark. I'm using straight brown chalk and a rust colored chalk is what I'm using on this right here. Which I kind of want this one to look heavily weathered, so I'm going a little heavy with with the paint and the chalk on this one. You can use lighter amounts if you want just a slightly weathered, or you can vary your colors as well. Use a little lighter tan. But I want this one to look real rough. I use the same process on my trucks as well, just not as heavy. When it dries and you get the dull coat on it, it'll give it a nice rust colored brown on your trucks.
Now, Gino, when you're doing that, is there decals on that at the time, or is that what do you do about the decals when you're doing that?
Yeah, this one's already decaled. Just make sure that you've got some kind of clear coat or a dull coat layer on it before you start doing it. That way the alcohol won't get into the decals. I used some 90% alcohol or 91%, whatever it is, and it'll work into the decals and make some of them kind of dissolve. But I have not had any problem with that with the 70%. But I usually go ahead, before I do anything, I'll have a layer of dull coat or a clear coat on it, just to be on the safe side, to kind of take care of your decals.
So now, when you put the rust section of the weathering on, does that cover the decal, or does the decal still show through the rust?
If you put it on heavy, it'll cover it up. But like I'll start here on this decal here and maybe cut it on. Then when I start brushing down, it'll bleed through where you can still see it. And like I said, if it's something that you just want a light weathering on, you don't have to go this heavy. But I wanted this one to really kind of look nasty. So I'm going pretty heavy with the rust. And when it comes to weathering, it's really each its own. Which, some folks like heavy weather and some folks like light. And just what I suggest is just get you an old car and play with it till you're comfortable doing it. I just like the way the chalk, when it blends with the paint, it gives it that real rust texture when it dries. And then when you're done, I'll hit it with another layer of dull coat, and it'll really make that rust pop out.
We got a question from Willie Ward here.
Okay.
Is it best to take off the wheels off when you are weathering? Maybe he's talking about the trucks or something there.
I do not. When I replace my wheels, when I get a bag of metal wheels, I'll go ahead and paint them before, and that way they're already painted when I put them on there. And then when you start with this little rusting on the side frames, it really doesn't mess with the wheels at all. But I pre-paint mine as soon as I get them when I get a bag of them.
Do you got the jig to do that?
No, I just use my fingers. I paint the wheels in my fingers. Somebody had a video I seen not too long ago on making jigs for those, but I just haven't done it.
Now, Gino, when you're doing that, and say you want to apply a patch, what would be the best way to preserve that patch from being covered up?
I would leave like if I was going to patch this section right here, I would probably not weather that part. That way your patch would stand out. But you could come back with a little bit of that alcohol wash just to run over it, just to kind of give it just a little bit of fading, but it wouldn't fade like the other rest of the model would. Yeah, I'm assuming if you want to patch it out for another railroad, is that what you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got one. Let me see if I may have one that I've already done. I'll show you here in just a minute and show you how it turned out.
Now, would you on empty cars like that one there? Would you weather the inside of the car if it was going to be an empty load?
Yes, and I'll do that to this one here in just a minute. But yeah,
Okay.
on my empty ones, I try to do the inside. I'm gonna go ahead and do the inside of the car with my wash, just like I did the outside, to give it just a little base color.
We got Almar Jr. here. If the weathering went bad, what it takes to restore at least close to start again? I guess
You can
close. Go ahead. Yeah.
close to starting. Yeah, you can come back with just some plain alcohol. I'll show you. Let me find a brush here. Like if I wanted to take this back off, I just come back with some plain alcohol. And you're back to new. Then you can come back and start over if you're not comfortable with what you did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the plain alcohol will take it right off. That's one good thing about using acrylic paint. It'll just it's pretty forgiving. All right, I'm gonna hit this with a hairdryer again, dry it off. The process for the inside is pretty much just like the outside. I'm just going to use a little bit brighter color for the rust on the inside. Kind of make it stand out a little bit.
Hey, Gino, do you ever make the gondola look beat up? You know, I was going to ask, that's funny that Troy from Specific North Central is asking this, and I was going to ask this question in a little while, but when you're doing gondolas or box cars, do you do anything to make them look beat up? You know, because I've seen some box cars and even gondolas that are just really beat up.
Yeah. Now a lot of times I'll on the gondolas, like I'll take my soldering iron and heat it up a little bit and kind of bend out the top edges where it looks like maybe they were loading and got bumped and whatnot. Now I'll take the back sided blade of an X-Acto knife on some of the box cars and make little gouges and then come back with the rust over them just to kind of make them stand out a little bit.
Yeah, because I know that those gondolas, especially the ones that haul scrap metal and stuff like that, when
They are nasty.
yeah, when they park them into a recycled scrap company, boy, do they get hammered on.
And that's what this one's going to be used for. I've got a scrap company on my new layout, and that's what this one's going to be used for. So I'm going a little heavy on the weathering for this one, but I want it to be real beat up and dirty.
Well, yeah, because if you're using that for scrap metal too, the inside would be rusted pretty bad because
Right.
they'll fill up with water, and I mean, I'm sure a lot of them have drainage, but still.
And you've got scrap metal that's rusting in there too, and when it gets wet, it's all gone.
Almar Jr., I think you said this once before, but he probably came in late. But what type of alcohol do you use again?
It's 70% rubbing alcohol.
Do you ever bulge the sides out?
I do.
Okay.
I have done that in the past.
What's the best way to do that?
I'll heat it up from the inside and take the tip of the paintbrush and just kind of make little divots in it. Just don't get it too hot where it's melting. Just kind of hold the iron close and get it heated, and then just kind of push on it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times when it comes to weathering, and I was that way for a long time too, everybody's just afraid to mess up a freight car. But once you get into it, once you get the technique, you find the technique that you're most comfortable with and use, it can really add some realism to your railroad.
I've been wanting to go over to our local scrap place and take some pictures of the gondolas that are over there, and because there's been a couple times I was over there, and they had stuff hanging down where a rust hole had developed inside the bottom, and there was like crud or grease or stuff hanging down through the crack of the
Right.
car.
And every one of them looks different. I mean, every car weather's different too.
Yes.
Now I'm just blending in some a little bit lighter colored chalk. Just kind of get a little variation on the color.
You know, that's actually, I mean, when you first started on that, I was like, man, he's putting a lot on there, but it actually is turning out pretty good.
Yeah, it blends. Once the paint dries and it adheres to the paint, it'll give you a real textured look.
You know, and I always hear the saying, you know, there's never too much you can put on, you know, I mean,
Oh, I
I
don't
don't know
think
how
so.
true that is.
I get accused of weathering too much a lot, but you know, it's you find your own niche and what you like, and that's what it's all about. All right. Now we got another alcohol wash mix. This is a blackish gray, and I'm just going to kind of make some little color. You give it a little stain in the bottom of it, a little darker color. Or maybe like water had settled and dried in the bottom of the car.
Philip Wyman wants to know, do you ever use weathering powder with the paint dry? And I think that's what he's doing now, Philip.
With the
Yeah, I guess you're using the powder. You put the paint on and then the powder.
yeah,
I think that. I
and
think
let it
that's
dry
what he's doing.
together. And you let it dry together. Get a smaller brush. And what I'm doing now with just this little darker wash, I'm just adding some streak marks.
I can see that the decals are coming through that pretty good now.
Yeah, you can start seeing they'll once it dries real good, they'll bleed through.
Now, do you ever simulate the road grind that comes up onto the ends of the cars from like the wheels, how it kind of splashes up when it's raining out and stuff?
I do on some. I do it mostly on the box cars. Uh, I haven't done it on this one yet. We can add some streaking on there. We'll use a little bit lighter colored chalk for that, just kind of, since this is a dark rusted car. Let's see what we can do here. That's not good. I'm using a little bit lighter colored chalk on the underframe just to kind of give it a more dust colored look instead of rust.
that the same color chalk that you're using right there?
This is a little bit lighter color, just kind of adds a little variations to it. When it dries, it'll blend with the old rust and the new rust. Kind of give it a little varied color. There it is.
That looks nice.
So you did some on the undercarriage too?
I did. I went ahead and I used just that light color on under.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see there.
Just to kind of make it stand out a little bit from the sides of the cars. But the only thing I would do now, I'd paint the couplers and put a layer of dull coat on it, and it'll be ready to go.
Now, what dull coat do you use when you put a dull coat on those?
I use the Krylon matte finish is what I use.
Okay.
I've used testers. It's just expensive for a little bit of can. But most of the time I use the matte finish, and I usually put 1 or 2 layers on it. And once you put your dull coat on, while it's still a little tacky, you can come back with some more chalk if you really just want to raise up some rust spots, and just kind of tap it on while the dull coat's still wet, and it'll give you a little more texture if you want some more texture to your rust.
Now, one thing that I was wondering, Gino, is when you look down inside of those, and it's not like you're always going to be able to look down in there, but have you ever tried making where the bottom is starting to rust out and there's holes in the bottom, and make it look
I've made some little crevices and all, and I haven't rusted all the way through the car. Now I've seen some that have that look really, really good. But you can make little divots in the bottom, and then come back with the chalk and chalk it up real good, and it'll look like where it's rusted out. If you really want to make some marks in it, or you can come back with like a tip of a Dremel tool and cut into it, and then come back and chalk over it.
Now, have you ever went as far as putting, after you're done with all that, putting graffiti?
I do.
Graffiti on the side of it?
I do, and on some of the ones with my graffiti, I don't weather them quite as much as I do like this one. But if you're gonna, you can put your graffiti on, then put your fade wash on. But a lot of this chalk, when you layer up the rust, it'll tend to bleed over the graffiti where you can't really see it all that well.
Now I've seen some cars, Gino, that had graffiti on it, but the car had rusted
And rust over it,
and
now
weathered, and then they've come in and painted their graffiti on over the rust, and it actually made it look better than the the rust and all that.
Yeah. Now I have not tried the decal over the chalk. I don't know how the decal would adhere to the chalk. I may have to try that and see how it turns out.
Yeah, I've been trying to get a buddy of mine that he airbrushes RC car bodies, and I've been trying to get him to do some not weathering, but graffiti, actually airbrush it on there, and he says absolutely not. That's way out of my league.
It's character. Tell him it adds character. But all right, guys, that's pretty much done on that one.
So, what was that other car that you were going to show us? You said you had another car that you were going to.
Yeah, let me get it real quick.
Hey, you're gonna dull coat that again, right?
Yes, I am. At least one coat, maybe two.
Now, I've heard people saying that they use hairspray to seal that.
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
I said I've heard people using hairspray to seal that.
I've never tried hairspray.
Wouldn't hairspray give it a glossy look than the dog look?
It might dry kind of tacky. I don't know that it would actually dry all the way. Give you a little sticky feel is what I would think.
Yeah, true. I never thought of that.
But here's one that
A slight bit.
this one ain't got too much rust on it, but that's one that's got the patch on it and some graffiti. Now I used the same fade wash on this one as I did on the Gondola. I just haven't added much rust to it, but it's weathered with the same fade washes as we did this one in the beginning.
Yeah, and that one there has a little bit of graffiti on it too, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yep. I don't know how well you can see it.
For a second, I thought it said Gino's Trains on there.
Gasp. That's what it is. Maybe that's better. I don't know if it's focusing. I don't think it's going to focus. Well, all right. I hope that was able to help you out on some weathering techniques, maybe. At least try something new.
Now, when you do your, when you said you paint, when you do your couplers, do you actually paint them or the same technique as you've got that you did on that car?
I use just regular paint on my couplers. I don't put chalk on the couplers. I don't want to take the chance of it getting in and jamming up the little springs, the chalk. So I usually just hit it with a little bit of rust colored paint.
Is it a wash or is it actual paint?
No, it's just actual regular paint. You can see on this one here. It's just regular rust colored paint. I don't know if you can see that one. Is that focusing in? Can you tell?
Yeah, it's coming. You can actually see the redness to it.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot better than, a brand new one would look like,
Right.
basically. Well, we got a little break here. Anybody else got any questions?
No, I think Gino pretty much covered everything.
I just want to, let everybody know, just to double. I like to hit the advertisement, as I can say, as much as I can when it comes to the Google Plus website and all that. But just to let everybody know, the next live show is on May 16th That is 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. The show will be marked over the anniversary. So the May 16th show will be the anniversary of YouTube Model Builders Live. I guess they're going to be having some great guests, probably some guests from the original show. I know that there's going to be the normal. William Graham's going to be on there. Barry, Model Man Mike, Brian, 102256. He's going to be on there. Colorado Joint Line, Fish Plate Films, of course Gino's Trains, and Southern 8099. They will be the guests on that one, and so that'll be the panel on that. And once again, the live show is really unique because they give out some really good door prizes. I want to say about 3/4 of the way through the live show, they give you the actual. You can go and register and sign up for the giveaways. They're really cool stuff. I know that there's been a lot of G Plus members. A lot of modelers have won some of those prizes, and they're pretty nice stuff. Anywhere from trees to bridges to structures to even stuff to do with roads, like road signs, crossings, and stuff like that. So, don't miss the May show. It will be the 1-year anniversary of the live show. And then once again, the EMAG. I want to push the EMAG as much as I can. The May article will be coming out. And once again, if you guys got some really good articles or anything like that, pictures, they're always looking for that stuff to put inside the EMAG. So go to the website, that's youtubemodelbuilders.com, and all the information there for the EMAG. You can even actually sign up and register for the email link, so that we'll email you the link, and then you can automatically go. So if you have a hard time finding it on the EMAG, if you go to the website, sign up for it, they'll email you the link, and then you can go to it as soon as it comes out. So just want to remind you on that. And then once again, the Hangout presentations, they are every Tuesday, once a week shows. I want to bring up Thursday nights is Johnny's. It's not a presentation, it's just a general hangout. He's the moderator for that, from Southeastern Rails. He will bring up some topic for that night once the presentation starts, and they discussed anything to do with model railroading on Thursday nights. And starting next month in May, and this will be going on for the duration. The first Tuesday will be Gino. The second Tuesday of the month will be Troy from Pacific North Central. The third will be me, and then the fourth will be Barry Raju. And then each month that has 5 Tuesdays, I will take over the 5th one, so everybody else will still stay the same. So be looking for that information. The schedule is on the YouTube the YouTubeModelBuilders.com home webpage as well. Go there to check out the schedule, and the schedule will be updated hopefully fairly soon. I know the guys are starting to get their presentations together in order right now to get that all updated.
Me.
Gino, when you're doing can you show some of your stuff that you've done? Do you have anything handy there that you got for like prime movers?
Yeah.
Like locomotives or anything like that?
Yeah. Here's one. I'll go ahead and show you this one. This is doesn't have much rusting on it, but it's got the fade washes. So let me turn it to its right side up there. And it's just black acrylic paint mixed with alcohol, and then some some of that tan mixed with alcohol and a wash.
Now, do you paint the? Do you do the same thing with the trucks on those, or do you try to, you know, what kind of weathering do you do for the trucks on those?
Yeah, it's mostly just paint and paint washes. I don't do much chalk on the trucks. I don't want to take a chance on getting the wheels gummed up. Now I'll use the chalks on the bodies. I'll show you this one. Now this one's got some chalk on it. It's pretty beat up. But you can see the chalk, how the chalk does on the top, on the cab. And then I've got some on the body.
Oh, I think I've seen that one on your.
Yeah, it's been around.
Yeah, you have one on your layout that looks like it's been, well used on the railroad.
Yeah, it's probably maybe this one.
Oh yeah.
This one's seen its better days.
Now, for your railroad, did you actually find those, or did you decal those yourself to make them fit for your railroad, or did they actually manufacture?
The GATX one I bought is stock Athearn. It comes in this road. Now the XBN I painted, and the Central Georgia or Georgia Central, I painted both of those myself.
Okay, because they wouldn't have, the manufacturer wouldn't actually make those road names, would they?
No, well, the BN, all I did was just patch it out. And put my decals on it. But the Georgia Central is not a production. You have to. I had to order the decals are custom made, and had to paint it.
And who did your decal work?
Dave's decals.
Okay.
So now he made the decals, and then you put them on.
Yes.
Okay.
There's he charges, I think it's a $50 set fee to do your artwork, and then it's $15 a set thereafter. And he does. I've ordered several different sets. He did all of my Alabama Central decals as well. He does good work. It's good quality stuff. But all of, like, for my seals on my Alabama Central, he did all of those. It's good quality stuff.
I've seen some guys take locomotives and they'll heat the handrails up and bend those down every once in a while too, and
Yeah, I'm kind of scared to do that with the plastic ones that are out now. The metal ones wouldn't be too bad, I wouldn't think, but I'd be scared I'd melt my plastic one.
Yeah.
And those are getting expensive to replace.
Now, do the handrails come off, or are they actually glued?
Yeah,
are they actually?
These are actually actually blue box Athearn kit, so yeah, they come off. Now this is a newer ready to run version, and they're plastic.
Yeah.
But most of I run a lot of the old Athearn blue box stuff just because it's easy to work on and you can change it up, and I don't know. I'm from the old school, I guess, when it comes to Athearn stuff, but I like the metal handrails, and they're just easy to get bash with.
Nice.
I'll show you one more. Got one more. I'll show you. Now this one's weathered up with the chalk as well. It's a NS-9. I put the burn patches where the exhaust is overheated, and use the same technique with the chalk and the paint.
What do you mean by burn patches where the? Oh, I see. Okay, right there on the exhaust.
Yeah.
Have you done any of like like turbo fires or anything like that?
Well, that I guess that's what this would be simulating on the
Oh,
GE.
okay.
Uh, this is the only Dash 9 that I have, so. And it's a kit bash unit. It's a Athearn Dash 9 shell with a Bachmann Dash 8 cab on it to get the standard cab.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know, I'm biting my fingernails on it, but that Shea locomotive that I got, I've been trying to do a lot of what time I have to look on weathering those because I want to make it sure it's weathered, appropriately and all that.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of those that I've seen didn't have a lot of rust on them. They just mostly had either smoke stains and coal stains and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of fading, but not much rusting.
Yeah. Because back then, the coal actually kept stuff from actually rusting, wouldn't it?
I imagine that the layer would help keep it from rusting. And which, back then, steam engines, they were in the shop a whole lot more than the diesels are.
Yeah, they kept them indoors.
And I'm sure that played a part in it too.
Yeah, true. And I think they were a lot higher maintenance, so they intended on keeping those maintained a little bit more than the diesels.
Right. I've got a 1218 I need to weather. I just haven't been able to bring myself to do it yet.
Yeah, they look too pretty to make them all dirty looking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got mine, that Shea locomotive I finally got the new decoder back and got it all installed, and now it runs really good. And I've just been wanting to get Troy made me a control panel for my programming track,
Mm-hmm.
and so I want to get it back installed so I can get it on the programming track and tweak the volumes and some of the sounds a little bit better.
Ooh, that's gonna be nice.
Yeah. Right now it's really, really faint. I'd like to turn it up a little bit so I can hear it a little bit better. But yeah, it sure is a smooth running machine.
Now you're doing all this weathering on these tabletop trains. When we were in live steam, we did everything we could to keep them clean and shiny.
There's
Yeah,
a lot of money invested in them live steam engines.
Yeah, you got that right.
it's funny that you bring that up, Bill, because I wonder if the reason why they did that or do that, because I know that a lot of places do that, is because they got a lot of guests that come and ride them, and they want them sparkly, shiny for. Because I know a lot of the excursion trains anymore. The ones that they have actually restored a lot of the steam locomotive for excursion trains, they keep them pretty nice. I know, like a lot of the videos I've watched of the Cass railroad, those steam locomotives they look beautiful. But maybe that's just because they're excursion trains and all that too.
Well, a lot of the steam engines too, they were always lubricating them with oil and stuff, and I'm sure that plays a part in it too.
True. Yeah. But
we oil our side rods and everything, and they get stained up, and we go in with chemical cleaners and clean it all off and get it back shiny. Run steel wool across it and polish the rods and all, so they gleam in the sun.
What type of live steam engine do you have?
Don't have any anymore. I sold everything out. But I used to build for other people.
Um, I'm going to be going over to Portland for the National Train Show over in Portland, Oregon in August. And there's a train, Bill knows who he is, down in, oh shoot, I can't think of the darn town. It's just south of Portland. And he actually has the property up for sale. And he's got a bunch of live steam, anywhere from actual live steam locomotives to diesel locomotives. And it's on 10.7 acres, or no, 20-something acres of track going around. And then he's got a full-size, beautiful S-gauge layout inside the basement of his house. And when we go over to because Dave Vallejos is supposed to be coming over there too, so I'm going to try and see about everybody taking a day to go down there. And I mean, it would probably take a whole day just to go and see all that, what that guy has.
You talk about Tom Miller?
Tom Miller, yeah.
That's not S gauge. That is a G scale. And
Inside the basement?
No, it's inside of a building.
Oh, okay.
And they call it F scale.
Oh,
fine scale. But it's all number 1 gauge.
Then he's got actual models of like airplanes and ships.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's almost like a museum. And that would be a dream come true for somebody that's into trains and they got a lot of money and they want to retire.
3.2 million.
Yeah. And everything goes with it. The trains, the machine shop, everything.
Yep.
Hey, Dave.
Yes, sir.
I tell you right now how you can get the sound louder on your Shay without your panel.
Well, I can program it if I want to.
No. No.
What?
Put new batteries in your hearing aids.
That's funny. Maybe if I cleaned my ears out. Troy and I were talking about that earlier about Bill. Said, oh, maybe he needs to turn his hearing aids up or something.
I know me and the wife went up to Cascade Railroad here in West Virginia, up in the northern panhandle.
Uh-huh.
And it's all steam. And I'll tell you what, it was the first time I've ever seen anything like it. We went in the fall. And you could literally eat off of any part of that train. It was immaculate.
Yeah.
Like somebody in the chat was asking about the paint that I use. It's just a regular acrylic paint from Walmart. It's 59 cents a bottle.
Yep.
You know, and a lot of people think that they got to go out and buy all this expensive, paints to do all this weathering. And I mean, there's a good example right there, Gino. 99 cents a bottle, and I've seen those same exact paints that's for 99 cents in like secondhand stores. I've seen some of the chalks in the secondhand stores. And the dollar stores that'll come in a package of 6. I've seen them come in a package of 6 for $1 in the dollar store.
Yep.
Like 6 different color paints. That you might go in there one week and they got a whole bunch of paints bundled up into 6 for $1, and they're all the same paints. Like 6 different paints, but each package is the same. So it's not like you can go in there and buy 4 or 5 different packages of different paints.
Right.
You might be able to buy 6 and then come back a month later and then buy another 6-pack with different colors in it again, But and it that you don't have to go out and buy expensive brushes neither.
No, you don't. I get the big jumbo bag that's got like 50 in the bag.
Yeah.
For like $5, you know, and they last me forever.
And then they got how many different sizes, Gino?
Oh, they're I think probably one of every size they make.
Have you tried chalk pencils or anything like that? Like, I mean, um, like, uh, are they crayons? They're not really crayons. They're actually a lead, but the lead is color. You know, I want to say it's chalk though. But
You talk about pencils in the art store?
now is that like a powdered
Yeah,
kind of?
yeah, it's more
Okay.
like a chalk because you did on the. People like to use a little bit of a coarse paper
Uh-huh.
because they'll do better on that. Then, I've seen people they'll out there in the parks they'll do drawings and stuff. They use their fingers to kind of smudge it, stuff like that.
That would probably work out pretty good for like little streaks and stuff that you wanted to do. I haven't tried it, but that would probably work out well.
Hey, Gino,
Yes, sir.
have you? One thing I've seen too on rust streaks and all. This was Cody Grivno in Mile Railroad magazine.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing a thing one time, and he took a pen, like a straight pen, T-pen,
Mm-hmm.
and took like red paint, just barely got a little bit on the point of that pen, and would dot the side of the car.
Yeah, yeah.
And kind of wait, give it a few minutes so it kind of start dry, and then take a dry brush and just pull straight down to streak it.
Yeah, no, I use a lot of toothpicks. I use them for that, like making little gouge marks or little scrape marks and little dots like that.
Yeah, okay.
Huh.
Yeah, I was playing around one day, and I took one of my T-pens and tried it. Seemed to work pretty good.
It does. It worked out real well.
Yeah.
Have you ever used any of those, like rust that comes in a pen for doing wheels or sides of track or anything?
I used one on my track that I'm doing now, and it turned out pretty well. Like the Woodland Singlets, like the track color stuff pens.
Yeah.
I hadn't used it on a model, but I'm pleased with the way it turned out on my track.
I thought maybe it might work on metal wheels on the cars
It
and the
probably
trucks.
would. I just on my wheels, I just brush it with that brown and let it dry. I haven't used a pen on one though.
I know you already probably talked about it, Gino, but on your locos, you taking the wheels off, or you just paint what you can see and then rotate them?
Yeah, I'll rotate them. I don't take them out.
Yeah, okay.
Use alcohol on a rag on the track and wipe them. Let one end run, and then turn the other end around.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anybody has not seen any of the updated videos of Gino's new layout that he's building, I think it's fabulous. I just love his little overpass, especially when the lights are on. When it's nighttime, there's certain things that come out in the nighttime underneath the overpass, especially when it's raining outside, because that's where the girls hang out, I per se, you know?
Yes, yes, yes.
And I keep wanting to see Gino's patrol car come by real slow, you know, to see if there's any.
I have a patrol car in the tunnel now, so the next time it's lighted up, you'll be able to see it.
That's good.
Gino, are you still putting your billboards on the new layout?
Yes, I am.
Have you seen Big Bill's video? Being the mayor of your central
yes.
I think that was hilarious.
He is his billboard's up now. Matter of fact, I'm gonna move this camera so you can see it. Let's see. Y'all bear with me. Can you see him?
Oh yeah.
I think he's upside down now.
Is he upside down?
Oh,
That's
there he is.
right.
No, he's right now. He's up right now.
No, he's not right if he's right side up. Upside down, he's right.
And there's the overpass.
Yeah, Big Bill. Yeah, there's the overpass. Oh wow, I haven't noticed all the trees in the background. That looks really good. I like that.
I've been working a little bit.
I like the Pepsi sign. I didn't notice that neither. That looks good.
It's coming along. Slowly but surely.
Very good, very good. Does anybody else have any questions for Gino on weathering, or have any weathering tips that they want to put out there? Sven?
Well, the military modelers have a lot of nice techniques. They're not so over the top, yeah, for heavy weathering, more the subtle approach. Something like a pin wash, which is a very diluted wash for very fine cracks. The aircraft modelers use that for the wings on the planes and between all the panels on the fuselage. And they apply it very early in the paint process. So the base coat of color goes on the model, then they put a glossy clear coat on, and then the pin wash. And after that, more paint and the camouflage paint and a dull coat. And the pin wash will still show through. And the other technique they use is a sludge wash, which is basically just alcohol and chalks and powders. You mix it to a paste, brush it on. It will go in every crack, everywhere. Let that dry. And then come back with a slightly damp cloth or a Q-tip and wipe off all the flat surfaces. And it will stay between rivets in every indentation. So that really lets those lines pop out. And it doesn't do any damage, so you can wash it off if you don't like it.
I I took a picture and I shared it on Facebook here. But I want to go ahead and share it to all the viewers. It's a picture I took of a car at our local track.
Oh yeah.
And I said I figured this would be a really good weathering. And if you guys look on top of the car, there's actually weeds growing on top of the car. Johnny, you asked me the other day about trying to get a better picture of up on top.
Yeah.
The car is still there in the yard, and I'm trying to, hopefully they move it in a position, because there's a road that goes up above the tracks where if they can move it in the right position, I might be able to get a better view of that. But yeah, I figured that would be a really good I mean, the car's not rusty or anything. I just saw the weeds, and I was like, huh, that'd be a good something cool to weather on a car.
Yeah, that's a covered gondola or what?
No, that's it's like it's a hopper car.
Oh, covered hopper. Okay.
Yeah, it's a covered hopper car. I don't know if it's a potash car, because we got a paper mill here, so I don't know if, I don't know what type of car it was, but it didn't really have any road name or anything on it. All I said is I saw
patched.
What's that?
It
Sven?
looks like it has been overpatched.
Yeah.
Light gray.
Yeah. Uh-huh. But yeah, I just saw the weeds growing up there, and I thought that was pretty interesting.
You know that they use the rest of the plant from when they harvest wheat to throw in to make paper, for brown paper and all? That could be some of the seeds from the wheat up there that's germinated and grew.
Very well possibly
It,
could be.
yes, it could be. It could be. Yep. Yeah. But I've been taking quite a few pictures. There's some hopper cars that were down there here a couple months ago, and I took a whole bunch of pictures of those so that I had some pictures to actually, I mean, and they were rusted pretty bad. Um, Let me find those and I'll share those. But these cars were, yeah, they were rusted pretty darn good for, here they are right here. They're rusted pretty good. So I figured those would be some pretty good cars to duplicate. As you can see, the rust on one, the paint's in pretty good shape where some of the rust isn't, and the other ones are like a grayish color tint with rust on it. But they're the same color cars. If you look at certain parts of the car, they're the same color gray. It's just the gray has faded or dulled more than the others.
Yeah, depending on what part of the country it's been in.
Yeah, you know, and um, who knows where these cars came from, because you know they could have. See, here's some more.
I mean, like, yeah, you get up
Um,
around north up there in that area, New York, Chicago, Detroit, and all in there. Uh, I believe the acid rain is going to be a lot stronger there than you find like out west and down here in the south. So you'll probably see cars up there rusted more than you will down here.
well, and plus, if they're sea-bound cars too, if they're over next to the ocean quite a bit, you know that's going to make a big difference too.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
would think, you
yeah,
know.
it will.
And like I say, these could be. I mean, by looking at the bottom of them, the type of hopper car they probably are carrying some kind of a chemical for the paper mill. And there's another Clearwater paper mill that's over on the Pacific Ocean on the Oregon coast. And you know that's these cars could go back and forth, you know, or I don't know where the chemicals come from, you know, but yeah, it could be almost anything. But
If it was a tank car, I'd say, you know, hauling bleach for bleach, you know, HTH for
yeah,
bleaching out paper and stuff.
I've taken some pictures of some of the tanker cars. You know, matter of fact, they're stockpiling tanker cars in our area right now. And I don't know if they're full, if they're empty, because the yard that we got here, it's a they repair a lot of cars. They're actual car repair shop, plus the branch line that they move stuff in and out to the Union Pacific line that's over in central Washington. Actually, the Walla Walla area is where they take all the cars that leave here, they take them there, and then pick up new full cars and bring them back for the paper mill or hopper cars for grain, because they haul out grain. They got container cars. They haul out a lot of containers out of here. A lot of grain, a lot of wheat, um, and then they bring in a lot of tanker cars and different cars for the paper mill too. So
They got a lot of dry chemical in tankers where they vacuum it out, and that HTH will actually rust the bottom of the cars right out.
yeah, it could be. Yep. So, but so all in all, guys, tonight's presentation, I thought Gino did a very good job. Um, I'm
Very good, Gino.
Thank you.
I'm really excited to see what kind of presentation Gino will start bringing in when May rolls around. So hopefully, maybe these guys. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do in the presentation, but if they ask me to do a presentation on something, I mean, if they want me to bring a webcam in how to do a valve job or a head gasket job on some car, I'd be more than.
We need track weathering and stuff like that. How to change the ties to look like they're older ties and all.
Well, I'm glad you bring that up because I know Troy is going to do his first presentation, which is on the 12th of May. He's going to do, something to do with track, how to put track together right. Dave Vallejos is going to be part of that presentation. So between those two and Gino, because Gino's been handling a lot of his track, all of his new track is hand laid. I think he's experimenting with that, and so that might be several episodes of doing track, reliable track work, putting
I'm
soldering.
more interested in the weathering of it.
Yeah, yep. So, and I know that Barry's going to do. He's going to try and do as much DCC stuff as he can too. Anywhere from programming to installation to, him and Mike. I can't think of Mike's last name right now. Is going to get together and they're going to put together several series of different DCC stuff. So that should be really good too. And then, of course, I'm going to try and my next presentation, which will be next month. I'm going to do. I'm trying to get somebody to do a photographic of rail fanning. I had somebody all set up to do it, and of course he's a very busy man, so he had to drop out. But I've got somebody that's does a lot of rail fanning, a lot of photographing of layouts and stuff like that, and he's going to do something. Matter of fact, that was going to be tonight's presentation, and we had to reschedule because he had something come up. So that's when I got Gino. Since Gino had rescheduled, I figured, well, this will be a good time to get Gino's done so that then when May comes in, he can start fresh with his own stuff. And so we got a lot of good new, stuff going to come about in our presentations. One thing that I do want to say to all of our viewers and our panel, I'm looking at probably doing some kind of a poll on Google Plus, and I'm thinking about probably doing it on 2 of the Facebook pages, is on what would people like to have for presentations. But I haven't got what I want to put down the poll in yet, So, but I might just put something up there and people can write in the comment, hey, I would like to see, like you, Bill, track weathering, weathering of track and techniques and all of that, So I'm looking at doing something like that too.
Gino.
Yes, sir.
Scott was asking if you could fix the ticket he got in Dothan, Alabama last month.
Ooh, that's a tall order.
No, Scott does have a question for you. He's in the chat.
Where can I send my cars to Gino? Oh,
Oh,
looks like he wants you to do some cars.
Look at there, business is grown up already.
I got a whole bunch of N-scale hoppers you can do up.
Oh my goodness, you gonna send me some glasses?
10x, 10x.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I got about 25 coal cars and about 25 box cars. I'll send to you.
I
don't know if I'm gonna open up a can of worms for Big Bill here or not. But I know that he's looking at doing T-shirts for YouTube model builders, and it's just going to be T-shirts for YouTube model builders. Just to let you guys know, and if he's interested in selling them to the general public, he is putting shirts together, and that might be something he might want to do. but he is doing shirts for a lot of the team members right now, and I will find out with him to see if he can, maybe want to do some shirts for people that want to buy them for just GP purposes. I know that I'm going to get a couple because I'd like to walk around with YouTube Model Builders on shirts, and so he
Internet
was going to.
actress.
He was going to present some of them to us, but once we get them, I'll talk with him, and that might be a possibility of some of our viewers and some people in the community might be able to get some T-shirts from Big Bill too as well. I don't know how many right now he's wanting to to produce. Right now, I think they're about $20 a shirt. But that might be a possibility. So if there's might be some guys wanting some YouTube Model Builder shirts, if some guys are interested, we can probably do something there too. But other than that, I really don't have. I don't think Gino has any more. Does anybody else have any questions?
Not for that, but since you're talking, can you
Hold
hear me?
on here. Let me mute Phil. He's got a lot of back. Phil, you got a lot of background noise there, buddy. But what's that, Johnny?
Well, I mean, Vinny did T-shirts, and Bill said he was doing shorts to go with them. And Vinny never did, so is Bill thinking about doing shorts to go with the T-shirts?
Well, I was thinking of even hats too. I've been wanting to go down to my local T-shirt guy that used to do all my T-shirts for my RC stuff, and see about putting my logo, a small logo, up in the pockets corner, and then one on the back. And and maybe doing a hat of some sort too. And if I do that, I mean, of course, I'll make them available for anybody that wants them. And because the nice thing about T-shirts is, when I was doing RC, the more you bought, the cheaper the shirts went down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the shirts I did for mine for the Central City, I think I got them custom made. If you just get like 3 or 4 shirts, they're pretty expensive. But if you can get up and order 15 or 20, and the more you got, the cheaper it is.
Philip said, Wyman, he brought up a good thing, and this, if Bill's watching this show, or when he does watch this show, that will be a really good giveaway too, is a shirt for a prize for the live show. That's a good idea.
Yep,
So that might be something Bill might think about too, is, hey, that'd give one extra thing to give away for the live show as well.
I like the hat idea too. A lot of folks wear hats.
I'll take 2 shirts and a hat.
Right.
I don't need a bathrobe.
You know what? Dave Vallejos just says he wants a bathrobe, a YouTube Model Builder's bathrobe. Mike, Model Man Mike will love that one, because every time Dave would come on, Dave would have his robe on, and the first thing Mike would say would be, what's the guy that owns Playboy?
Hugh Hefner.
Yeah, he'd go, "Where's Hugh at tonight?" That's good. That's really good.
I tell you what, we ought to get a robe just made up for him and send it over to him.
Yeah, no kidding.
Here's your robe, jealous.
Shoot. But well, anyways, guys, Gino did a very good job. It was an hour and 30-minute presentation. I think that since he was the only presenter tonight, this will probably be one of the shortest shows that we've done since we've been doing them. But all in all, it turned out to be a pretty good presentation. I think some guys learned some pretty good stuff out of Gino tonight.
I hope so.
And,
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Great show.
Just to give a quick rundown for all the viewers, if you're looking for any of the information for any of the live show, the eMag, or the presentations, go to YouTubeModelBuilders.com. All the information's there. You can even sign up and register for the EMAG to email you the link for the EMAG. It's bi-monthly, so that because a lot of guys have a hard time finding it. I think there's I think there's close to 400 subscribers to the EMAG now, which that is really good. It's building up strong every more and more for the EMAG. JD does an exceptional job on the EMAG, and I know that they just brought some more team members in to help JD out with those. And there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff in the next several months coming up into the presentations. There's going to be the Gino show and the Barry Razur show and the Troy for Pacific North Central show, plus me, of course, unless you guys get burned out. You guys will probably watch their shows. Oh, dude's he's boring. You know, we can always go and watch his recording. But anyways, other than that, you know, I think it was a good night, and we had a pretty good showing of, I think, probably 10 to 15 viewers. We didn't have too many questions. I think Gino showed most of them, so there wasn't too much. And do you got something to say there, Chris? It looks like you're wanting to.
No, just taking it all. Did a great job. Gino.
So anyways,
Appreciate it, guys.
I think I'm going to go ahead and sign it off from here, and until the next time, the next Tuesday will be the first Barry show. That will be his starting. He wanted to do the end of the month for April, so next Tuesday will be Barry. And until the next time, adios, guys.